I've used Haiku learning systems at both districts. In fact, I was the leading force in Riverside in terms of adopting Haiku, and in a strange turn of events, I actually learned about Haiku learning from Fullerton while at Riverside Unified. In Riverside, we had started a virtual school. We started that virtual school with a company called Blackboard. Many are familiar with Blackboard. It's a learning management system that's focused really at higher ed. We tried to make it work at K-12. It just was not functional. And so we went out looking for other learning management systems, and at that time we came across Haiku. We were very interested in Haiku because they seemed to be almost the opposite of Blackboard, in the sense of that they were a very mobile company that was interested in providing support to just the K-12 market, and was willing to work with educational leaders to design their product in such a way to make it really useful and effective at K-12. But why I went with Haiku was we put it out in front of our teachers. We could do roughly a 2-hour training and get teachers into the system, as opposed to what we had been doing with our previous system, which would be 8 hours, and they would leave sometimes more confused than when they first showed up. So we adopted Haiku. Like I said, 43,000 students. We gave it to all of our students, all of our staff, all of our parents, and we made it kind of our main communication space. It was very easy to use. Like I said, we provided 2-hour trainings that would get most teachers up and going. Of course, we could go deeper, but the great thing about Haiku system is they have tutorials and help built into each page. So teachers that were willing to dig deeper didn't even need extra support, and those that did, it was pretty simple to provide. As a leader at the district level, I had a couple things I needed to worry about. One was the ease of access of teachers and training, but the other was the back end. How do I get my students and my teachers and everyone in from my student information system, and how does that look like? And then how do I have to manage that system? How many people is it going to take? Those type of questions. In Riverside, again, a large student population. I had one person that managed Haiku for me, and that was in addition to 5 other programs. And it really kind of came down to most of what she did once things were first initially set up was just username and password questions, or deeper type of staff development that needed to occur. And so for ease of use and ease of management, it was a great system there. And then when I came here to Fullerton, obviously they had been using it, but they had not been using it to its full capacity. They had been using it in spots, and then using it very well in spots, but it wasn't available to all students, all teachers, and all parents. And so that was one of the first things that I did arriving here. One of the great things about Haiku is this integration with Google. You can see behind me an example of a page that we use here. So with a click of a button, you can see kind of the arrow behind me. If you click on that G, they go right into Google Apps, and they're looking at the same type of things, so they can go deeper and use a variety of different programs to get where they're wanting to go. I think the other thing that really impresses me about Haiku is their business philosophy. They work with districts to try and continually stay on top of what's out there on the market. They have a feature called Embed the Web that allows us, in terms of innovation, to really get way out ahead of where Haiku might be on their roadmap, but still be able to use that system. And then when they do incorporate these things into the Haiku system, I don't pay extra. I pay one price for the year, and any upgrades and additions, whatever happens during that year, is mine. And that's great for me from a budgeting point of view, as well as not having to play the roadmap game and when do I upgrade, when do I not upgrade. The other thing with them that's great is that they host, and so I don't have to manage the server end. they've done a great job in terms of expanding service, so I've never had an issue with my kids not be able to get on, and that's across the district as a whole. I think for us here, we use it across the board. It's used as a classroom tool. In terms of managing how you would think of a traditional class, we do a fair amount of blended learning here. It's the vehicle to share that. We also use it as a communication tool and collaboration tool at district level. Common Core is a big deal for districts all over the nation. And for us, we used Haiku to be kind of that main communication space with lessons and Common Core ideas for all grade levels. But really every single department from the superintendent's department on down has a Haiku page, has a discussion going on, those type of things, so that everyone in the district knows that the most important things that they need are in Haiku, and they know how to get there. And once you've won that battle in terms of a central location, then it's easier to innovate and expand beyond that. Now obviously we use other programs than Haiku, but they go through the portal, if you will, of Haiku to get that information and then link out into other areas. I'm often asked by other schools and districts, is there a place where it's best used, or if it's a K-8, it's a K-12 environment? And what I love about Haiku is it applies to all environments. And Haiku will help work with you in terms of trying to adapt it in terms of how you want your classes populated, how direct that's tied into your SIS, etc. So obviously I'm a big fan of Haiku. I believe that learning management systems are critical in the 21st century. We've heard conversations about different types of learning management systems, learning management systems, etc. Haiku has been, since I've been involved with them, again, over almost a decade now, at the leading edge of that pack, and continues to be at the leading edge of that pack. And there are obviously more competitors out there now than ever in terms of learning management systems, and I'm sure they're fine systems as well. But as I look at them and as I talk to other people that are using them, they're having more headaches and more issues than I have with Haiku or have ever had with Haiku. I guess the last thing I'd say about Haiku is that they are truly a partner. In my seat, I'm pretty tough on vendors because I'm looking for partners, not just vendors. Anyone can sell you a product. I'm looking for people that will get in the boat with me, and so if there's a disaster, they're right next to me and they feel that pain as much as I do. And Haiku has been that from the start in terms of being willing to work through issues, work through problems, from the political spectrum on our end to try and make things easier to just nuts and bolts on the back end. With that, I'd be glad to answer any questions for anyone out there that's looking at different LMSs, and would welcome anyone to come to our district to get a deeper look in terms of what we're doing and how we're using it.